Alright, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Scully Unfiltered podcast. Last time I realized I listened to the previous podcast since doing it several times now. Because I started talking about some things that I should probably go into more detail. I kind of just jumped right in and assumed that the audience would be just okay with me saying the things I was saying. Just because I mean, I do have a basis, but I did say some pretty harsh things. And it is what it is. But anyway, what was I thinking? So one thing I wanted to point out that just popped in my head now is I was talking about how someone is trying to make it appear as if prophecy is being fulfilled and what they're specifically doing. So let me kind of give a little more depth into what I interpret they are doing. Is they're looking at all the prophecies and trying to determine how to make it look a certain way with their fulfillment, and then manifesting it by basically happening to be in a certain circumstance where they just can. And so they're not just looking at Christian prophecies, they're looking at all prophecies, and some of them are Islamic prophecies. And so they're trying to, and the reason I'm saying they're trying to, and that it's a specific ideology that's doing it, the perspective of the people doing it, in my analysis, is that Jesus will return when the prophecies are fulfilled. And so they're trying to fulfill them, but the way they're trying to fulfill them is in their interpretations. And they can't do it so completely. They can't do it literally. So for a prophecy to be fulfilled that convinces me, so that's the thing. Essentially, they're already convinced. So it's just a matter of convincing everyone else. And so how they convince everyone else is by manifesting things that make it look that way, to better encourage people to be like, aha, that is the reality in which we live. And so ways that they do that include literally creating Israel to make it appear as if the country prophesied is manifest. And so the agenda of those taking action through that country is very easily supported by people who just aren't really paying that much attention to what's happening. Because maybe they don't realize someone could be that driven to literally control the world on that scale and essentially deceive people, trick people into arriving at the conclusion that Jesus is God. Because here's the thing. It's real. There's really no argument to this. Is why would we say Jesus and not God? Like, if Jesus is God, then why are we saying Jesus? Why not just say God? Or are you saying that there is something to Jesus over God? Because that's what they're saying is, well, pray to Jesus. Why not pray to God? Why is there this differentiation if they're the same? If they're the same. If they're not the same, then what's the difference? It's almost as if one is an infinitesimal part of all that is. So if we say Jesus is God, what we're simultaneously saying is nothing else is. And that's the issue. Because Jesus is God, in the sense that everything is God, all is God. So yes, I concur. However, the focus on Jesus over the focus on God is an issue, because this is what it does. What is happening in the world today is due to the focus on Jesus over the focus on God. And thinking, well, they are the same. Well, then why say Jesus? It's really that simple. I just don't understand. Anyway, so what is then happening is they're trying to fulfill it. So it's like Bob Marley says, you can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And so their objective is to fool as many people as possible, and then just kind of, oops, kill the rest. And then look at that. We're all in agreement now that Jesus is God, and then he'll return. Perfect. But so what they do to convince people includes basically making Islam look as bad as possible, painting it with blood, making it the villain. So, like, for instance, Islamic State, ISIS, is a prophesied end times army that forms. Army. But what is it? It's a nation of submission. And if they're actively out there killing, imposing their will forcefully by physical means and not just persuasion, because there's a difference between force and convincing through simple persuasion, which means that we're having a conversation and sharing our perspectives and coming to an accord, rather than you do this or else. So when ISIS came about, the way it came about is related to prophecies. There's all of this stuff going on that's hidden that they don't even talk about. It's just there waiting for them to talk about when they want to point out, hey, do you see how this is manifesting in this way, and therefore did you realize now Jesus is God, right? And that Islam is wrong and you shouldn't read the Quran, because the Quran, it points out, hey, God, what is this going on here with Jesus? Like, God, guys. And essentially it argues that, or states something along the lines that Jesus is the son of Mary, suggesting he's human. He's not the God, but still giving him admiration and a place of honor and respect within the religion. It's just a different perspective on who he is on a fundamental level, because him being the God, again, it just says that nothing else is, and that's just not true, because God is everything, all, unlimited, not limited. And God isn't so unlimited that God is able to limit and become just Jesus, and therefore we should worship just Jesus. Because it creates this discrepancy, because there's other perspectives. There's infinite ways of seeing the nature of reality, but under them all, there's one God. And it's not Jesus specifically, it's all of us. We're God. We're basically taking our power away, saying, here, you have it. You be a false idol to rule the world, because that's what's happening. We're giving power to an idol, which then is so influential on the state of affairs of the planet that it then manifests in this chaos, because there's this disagreement, there's a tension, because not everyone agrees with this perspective. And it's not just like there's a disagreement subtly or like some small thing, it's some fundamental like major disagreement where the two perspectives are basically in polar opposition. And so when they get pushed together, essentially it creates a exponential repulsion, which is one of the issues with the decision to say, well, we'll just form Israel in the Middle East. And I pointed this out, and I want to point it out again, in a place that we don't even know is actually where Israel was. We think maybe it was, but there's a lot of things that we think maybe that's wrong. And that is quite possibly one of them. There's very good arguments that Yemen is actually where Israel was. And there, I mean, all sorts of arguments. And so essentially we don't even know that that's where it was. And yet we still formed the nation there because people just wanted to further make the world appear and manifest as prophecy being fulfilled. And so I mentioned Mohammed bin Salman yesterday, and I just want to point him out because he's like a character of interest in the way that I analyze like world events, because essentially as all of this like chaos is happening, Saudi Arabia it could possibly be the place that is perceived as like the true Islamic State, where when Mohammed bin Salman becomes the king, at least I think they're trying to make it look that way, where so he's going to become the king, and then he's going to start, so he's got all these plans in place for when he becomes his king. The current king, his father has dementia. I mean, assuming that things go according to plan, but there's high probability that this guy is assassinated. I mean, which would fucking throw a huge wrench in the plan. So there's probably a strong protection against that happening, but it's like I mentioned, Game of Thrones in Saudi Arabia, and you never know what could happen, especially when effectively what's happening is a coup, because they're taking over the throne from all the other families and just basically saying, no, it's ours now. And this guy's only like 30. So by the time, assuming he lives a long life as king, by the time, like they would like to have happen within that family, assuming that happened, by the time he dies, I mean, it's going to be pretty solidly set in stone, assuming no chaos or revolution happens. But my interpretation is they are making it appear like he's like the mastermind, the decision maker behind all these things. And when someone's the mastermind, they are a patsy. Especially when all the circumstances surrounding him. I just don't. It's like there's weird things, like you'll see Obama quotes, all these people praising him, just praise. He's great. And the idea is that they're basically making this guy rise to power, like suddenly out of nowhere, and then be the head of the entire Islamic empire or nation of the Middle East. That's the idea. And make it so oppressive and so despicable of their actions that is the objective is to basically just smear the hell out of Islam. And to make this dude be the Christian interpretation of who the Mahdi is, because they want to basically make the Mahdi character of Islam appear in a certain way where he's just like evil and killing and being very Muslim in people's like expectations of what a Muslim even is like. Because they're trying to paint a picture. And it's all to control us. So like most people don't know what's going on, and that's, I feel bad because I'm talking about things that are very much related to people's belief systems. I mean, there's lots of Christians out there, and everyone that I know I'm good friends with. Like, we're good people. It's just that unknowing to them, there's this thing going on underneath it that's like the money being siphoned from the coffers is being fed to some dark corner where people are just fucking people and hiding in the shadows. They aren't doing it in full daylight. But if we shine some light on them, hey guys, did you see what's going on right there? Here, let me put the spotlight down. Did you see now? Then they run like cockroaches. Sorry, that's fucked up. I love you guys. I think it's all just a big joke on me, and I appreciate it if it is. What else? Yeah, so other things that Israel does. I mean, I know I probably come off as rather aggressive against Israel, but I just need to point out it is warranted by their actions, and it's nothing to do with any individuals. It's really to do with the government, which is, that's the thing, is all these like agencies, all these organizations, all these whatever, the religions and stuff, they're entities that exist, but they're not entities that exist. Like, they're not real in the way that you and I are real, and yet they function in the way that you and I function by influencing the environment. Because we give them the power to do so, we basically create these things, like the Catholic Church. And I don't know what their role is in it all. I don't know. I wouldn't even say necessarily that they know that this stuff is going on. Although there's really interesting stuff surrounding the last pope and the prophesied last pope, which people think is this current one. Interesting. Anyway, but yeah, so they also, something Israel also does is they will call someone a terrorist. So like say they call my uncle, or let's say, it doesn't matter, someone a terrorist. That person then will have a notice on their door placed that the house is going to be demolished, and then it doesn't matter that there's no due process. 24 hours later, all of the family that lives there must be gone, and the house is then demolished in front of their faces, children crying, because they were told that their whatever family member was a supposed terrorist, just because they were said so. No due process, no actual unbiased analysis, just someone imposing their bullshit will and stealing property from someone. And everyone turns a blind eye because it's Israel. But it's not Israel, though. Okay? It's not. Oh, it's so bad, guys. I mean, maybe one day an agreement can happen, right? Where peace comes and like it can be Israel in truth. So like, you know, because there's something to be said for people like trying to actually bring it about, because they care, you know, and it shows. Even if it's a little misguided in some ways. Hey, me too. What else? What else did I talk about? Oh, I was thinking. I want to bring this up because maybe I'm thinking about doing it. So when I present something, like I'm gonna write a comment on this YouTube video because I got nothing better to do. I mean, paragraph, space, rewrite, come back and edit it again. Oh shit, I put this. There's an A in there. Now I look like a dumbass because it should have been an A. And okay, go back. Okay, edit, save. Okay. Oh shit, I fucked that up too. Edit, save. Just constantly like continuously adding and amending and changing and like presenting something in a different way. And I think that it would be perhaps a good idea to start to do, like, especially this last podcast I did, to start to just, it was long, that's why I didn't do it. It was 2 hours to react to it though, and for the purpose of just like adding more insight into what I'm thinking at certain times. How exactly to do that in an effective way where it doesn't just become like crazy long, but it's still like manageably understandable and able to be followed. Because I mean, like, if I were to just speed it up and insert it in and watch it just sped up and then react and just have it faster, then it may be less audible, and maybe I want to do it again, and then it becomes so inaudible that it's hard to even follow what I was talking about to begin with. So then like the comments start to lose their like clarity because then the actual topic is just gone, or just like a long video that just becomes bigger and bigger. Oh my god. But I chose just to randomly start talking and hope that I covered enough things that I thought I should comment on. Also, the Holocaust I talked about several times and kind of was definitely, we'll say heartless is a good word in a lot of ways. But I there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, and that's the thing. If you start to really look into it, you just aren't allowed. There's an issue when you're not allowed to look into something. That's all I'm saying. And there's suspicious things that make it like there's definitely more to the story than we're told. That's all. What that more is, I would say, includes in the minimum that it was for the purpose of creating Israel. In the minimum. even if everything else about it is exactly right. Which is not. And I feel that I'm allowed to question, and I say this in my book somewhere, and I think it's really important to appreciate you can't find answers, or you can't get answers if you don't question. Literally. Oh, did you want an answer? Too bad you aren't asking any questions. Oh yeah. So if we're not questioning it, then what are we gonna find? We're just gonna find some spoon-fed. Here, believe this. They're believing it. They're just quite the little. They just go along with anything, huh? Why do they even exist? They're just like worker bees. We'll just use them. It doesn't even matter. They're going along with everything we tell them. It's crazy. Even when the most obvious reason to not go along with what I have to say comes out in the media because they're fighting back and forth, they still listen. It's crazy. Good little ones. And COVID, I also mentioned a little bit. I think I've definitely talked about it. I want to point out that the face mask, is a substrate, which is where things grow upon, which I also had that idea while I was listening of something that I would like to mention. So I'm glad this word substrate came up, because I was talking about 0 to infinity and the boundary, the where the two meet, being the oneness of everything, which is like a substrate, which is where life grows on, is on a substrate. Anyway, so relating that to COVID, or back to COVID, face mask, all these plastic things, all these barriers we're putting up, are places where germs grow. And there's so many issues with the mask. So many issues. And I mean, it's okay if people want to wear it. I also said I don't want to live in a world where people wear face masks, but that's not actually the truth. What I don't want to live in is a world where people make me wear face masks. Because I don't have your belief system, and I'm not going to. It's like they're gods. Like, why is science is not done? Okay, guys, we figured it out. We need to wear a face mask. Notice how they're just taking our freedoms right along with it all. Oh, what's after face masks? You think it ends there? Oh, just do it. It's and that's the thing. They play on our heartstrings. All of it's playing on our heartstrings. So if you question it, then you're just being an asshole. And how heartless can you be? And then people shun you. You get ostracized from society. It's really well designed, guys. Well designed way to basically separate, because that's what's happening. Because the perspectives that are most impacting society at large are divisive by not focusing on the oneness of everything. Literally focusing on money, focusing on Jesus, focusing on it doesn't matter. If it's not all, which I can't do, but I think we collectively can do. And that's the thing. Like, none of us can really truly lead, but we all can lead. So we kind of got to do it together as a team, like a team of equals on the same footing. Which means we got to get there. Speaking of footing, another thing I was talking about. I don't know if I was talking about it. Anyway, the thought was of that, like, there's a as we lose the capacity to do as much with the same amount of energy input. So, like, if I in 1960 went to work and invested Y amount of energy, and then I went out into the world and used the income that I got to buy whatever it was that I wanted. If I was in this world in 2020, invested the same amount of energy, and then I went out into the world and bought what I could, it would be significantly less, because effectively energy input is requiring more and more and more to receive the same amount of output, because the system is not designed in our long-term benefit. People are taking shortcuts. The system is just not designed well. It needs to be focused on equality, on our oneness, that we are all deserving of being here, of having a life of pursuit of happiness, where we're able to pursue happiness and we're not just stuck. Because the worse it gets, the more we can't do anything but support the system. And then we're just slaves to the system. By design, guys. Because someone's doing it to control all of us, because they think this is the way things should be. And then what do? Law, 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 law. Law, 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 law. Straight jacket your ass. You can't move anymore. And what happens then? You starve. You can't function if you can't move. You're just done. And we are done if we keep that path up, where we just continue to limit. We can't just make new laws every time we see something we need to address. We need to remove laws, because they're not laws at all. They're just what some person who is no better than you and I suggested that we do. And maybe they said it in some strong language, like mandatory and law and blah, blah, blah. But they don't have any say in what I do. I don't see. Oh, shit. Did they just move my arm? Oh, wait. No, it was me. Because I control me. Just saying. That's the thing. We need to focus on ourselves. Do what we feel is best for all in our own actions. As a collective, doing what is then best for all, but also for ourselves. As I don't do that. Still smoking cigarettes. It's kind of shitty to talk about. I don't like it. It's just like one of the expenses, one of the costs of being a stubborn fool. In a lot of ways. But I'm stressed. Not that that's an excuse. Just taking it out on myself. It's kind of makes me think of like someone who cuts themselves. Like I have that. I do that. Just not physically. I'm pretty sure a lot of us do it. Just not physically though. You know? All of us. And that's the thing. Like the mental world. We're just not even really aware. So it's kind of like a freaking a chaotic storm, because it's just so ripples and what's the word I'm looking for? Turbulent. Whereas like the body, like if I get a cut, maybe I'll fuck with it. But like I'm a little like, all right, I gotta, nurse that back, to put a little something on it, put a band-aid. But if I got some mental cut, I'll just pick at that all day. Oh yeah, the thing that's really bothering me, I should think about that forever, right? Just picking away. Scratch. Scratch the mental itch. Yeah. This is interesting. That's just growing up, I guess. I really think there's like a mental puberty. We're so focused on physical puberty that we think that we're adults when we hit physical puberty. We base the laws around it. Oh yeah, that's an adult because they're physically an adult. Then life hits. There's definitely a second puberty that is of the mental variety that is not simultaneous to the physical. And I would say it's something that would matter if we're even like, if we're making laws for adults and so on. Like, seems to me like there might be a question what an adult even is. All things are relative, To me, I mean, how does God see us? God sees us all as children and all innocent. And that's one of the things going on, is it's guilty until proven innocent now. Go to the airport. Try to walk through and say, oh, no, dude, I'm innocent. You haven't proven shit, so you have no right to impose your will and inspect me as if I'm guilty. Oh, then you can't fly. See how they did that? They took away your ability to move unless you comply. Now you comply there, little one. Oh, there's nothing we can do, so we might as well just comply. Guys, we can like get together and say fuck off. Like straight up fuck off with this shit, and just we're passing through and thanks, have a nice day. This is gonna take some work though. It's not so simple. We gotta have a plan. And I'm not saying I have a plan. We have to have a plan. Because I don't know. There's all sorts of shit that's fucked up. But I bet if people start looking at my research and then applying it to their own research, we would see some major advancements in areas that I would never have known ever in infinite lifetimes. The connections. But then I would know if look at that came to light now, because people were actually thinking with me and working as a team to come to some kind of understanding of the nature of reality. Now that we have our oneness as a foundation and see the way all things function in this infinite spectrum, because I'm sure there's relationships to biology, and I don't know much about biology. Not enough to apply it, to apply the connections. But in everything, computer science, AI. You want to model the universe, you better know that it comes from nothing. Talk about simple, though. I don't know how to create a computer program, but maybe it's possible to put the base bare minimum logic of nothing is everything into a program that then runs and basically manifests infinity. Maybe. And all sorts of things. I mean, if time travel is possible, which I swear to you, time travel is possible, because I was in New Orleans, also on MDMA. Like the other time, I was on at a party and having crazy mental thoughts and everything, an environment lining up. In New Orleans, though, it's walking down. I swear it was crazy, because people were. That's where I was like, they're from the future, because there were some black guys, and I had a thought that I kept having and keep having, because of our focus as a society on our differences rather than our similarities, which I grew up in a world like that, and I'm not gonna say I'm impacted by it, not gonna lie. And then add on top, and I'm like, people can hear my thoughts. So then I start testing it. How do you hear this? Oh my god. And then it just becomes like a problem, like fucking mental Tourette's. And I'm in New Orleans. I swear this guy was like jokingly acting like he was gonna attack me with his friends as they were walking next to me. Not gonna attack me, but like jokingly acting like he cared about the thought. Even like it was like he was like from the future, and so he was so like steady state equilibrium that my stupid thoughts didn't faze him, and his reaction was to just kind of like express it through some kind of like and his words, because like he said like hold me back or something. You know, like I don't just like this is weird shit. Anyway, I've definitely had the thought that I've interacted with people from the future though. And maybe it happens, and if it does happen, I mean, the thing is, it would be from a society that understands the nature of reality well enough that they probably could actually function in the past without blabbing. You know? Alright, I'm a time traveler, fine, you got me. You know? Like, they probably could. So maybe time travel is possible, and maybe it's possible, I would even suppose, through a study of quantum mechanics relative in in light of classical mechanics model that I present, because I think there is something to like the like string theory and things of that nature, where it's touching into, because on one layer it's particles, but like it becomes so infinite in particles that it just functions differently, more like a wave. And maybe there is this understanding of time travel that only can come through understanding like the wormhole kind of thing, those kind of like what woo ideas that are in science and physics that are kind of like mainstream but not so like proven. All sorts of things. I just don't know. And I won't ever know. Anyway. What was I talking about? So COVID. I mean, it's not like, the thing is, like, they came out and lied right off the bat. They came out of nowhere and started lying. Oh, this is how it's gonna be. And I say lied because they lied. It wasn't like they were like, you know, all the studies are showing that millions of people will die in this short period of time. No. They were like, the worst possible study we can find, that's the one we're going to present to everyone. Here you go, guys. So what we're expecting is 2.5 million within 4 hours. Where did you get those numbers? Oh, we just made them up. We don't care. We don't care. You thought we cared. Oh, I know you thought we cared, but we don't care. Oh my God. And then they scare us. Oh shit. Whoa. You know, and then people started like fucking walking around in like hazmat suits, taking it all seriously. It's like, dude, don't trust this government. Don't trust this media. Something's up, guys. And then, of course, reality sets in, and not as many people as were predicted die. And, well, you know, it's still bad. And, like, we definitely wanted to lock down the economy. That was definitely a good idea. For sure, it's good that if very few people had the capacity to actually make the decision to tell everyone else that they can't actually run their businesses. For sure. Great decision, guys. I'm glad that you fucked all the small businesses and then left places like Lowe's, like Home Depot, like Walmart as essential to just corner the market. Just good luck. Oh, did you run into a little hiccup there, small business? Oh, a little hickaroo? Don't you worry. Well, we got you covered. These businesses are off to the races, fucking pulling in cash because they got no competition. Like, what? Whoa, guys. So that's one of the things going on. So maybe, you know, you gotta ask the question, who benefits? And then if someone's benefiting, just be like, that's a little odd there. Someone's benefiting from this. All these powerful agendas benefiting. So on top of that, not just financial benefits for companies. It's not like they're the ones doing it. They're just going along with it, just like Twitter and Facebook. Like, oh, did you want us to censor everyone who disagreed with you? Of course. Don't worry. We'll promote the authoritative view that you present. We'll put it all across everyone's page, even if they don't want to see it. Because your view deserves front page. Fauci, 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 baby. I ain't got my Fauci video today, you know? How can I know what bullshit the government's touting if I'm not listening? Because that's why I listen. It's not like, oh man, I really need to know the truth. Let me pull up that Fauci video people keep telling me about. Oh, he just enlightened me. Sorry, Fauci. I don't mean to be an ass. Why is the medic like it's weird? Oh, we have a supposed virus that we are predicting, science is predicting, even though never mind, that's fucking wrong. Never mind that it's just constantly wrong. Wrong. Dude, that was yesterday. Today we gotta have faith that we'll be right today. And if we're right, we can, pat ourselves on the back. We were right today, guys. We predicted the weather. We understand the weather now. We did it. One time's enough. Show pattern emerges from one. There it is. I mean, they're just lying, though. And then the deaths are lies. Manipulated as fuck. And then they're just creating mass hysteria. And then we just act it out for them. That's the crazy thing. So now we act it out, and now they can basically make us against each other. Oh, are you wearing your mask? Why aren't you wearing a mask? I'm on Bumble and OkCupid, and both of them have social distancing with mask as one of the options. I was like, alright, you're kind of cute. I'll just swipe right, I guess. But, I'm not sure that we're going to agree on everything. Or that you're going to let me be in your presence because the fucking government has created so much fear. Wow. Like, we can't even gather, which is another thing. Like, they know their shit's up. Things are going down right now. The issue is the economy's fucked. You can't print us into prosperity. You can't lie us into prosperity. You can't anything us into prosperity except for actually, like, we work together as a team and become more cohesive, and then we become more like a single body that is more prosperous because it's like the collective is greater than the sum of its parts kind of thing. But you can't lie us into prosperity. Printing money, guys. This is one of the things, and it really bothers me that, like, I'm not allowed to be not happy about this stuff. Like, you gotta just, go with it, man. You gotta go to work, do your best, just keep on going, and don't say a word. It's put your head down and shut up. But, like, there's actual issues where money of today is not worth as much as it will be tomorrow, so it's just depreciating, and then I'm working for air, and I'm a slave now. Why am I a slave now? Oh, because this fucking system is bullshit, guys. Wage slavery. Abraham Lincoln ran on the, what do they call it? The platform he ran on was against wage slavery. Guess what we have today? Just universal wage slavery.
if you want some money, then you better come in these hours, these days, do what we say. You do what we say. We're the boss here, and you better give us a 2-week notice if you're gonna leave, because we really or else we'll give a bad review. So you better be a good little worker. Slaves, guys. Slaves. It's just another form of slavery. It's a mental slavery, which you don't need shackles to keep someone a slave if you've convinced them to be your slave. Which we as a society are pretty convinced to just be slaves to this shit system that's just leeching off of us. Tax. You know, we really need to lower taxes by 0.1%. Oh no, we should definitely raise taxes so that we can dirt. So let's say I have $100 and the government takes that $100. What the fuck are they gonna spend it on? It doesn't even matter because they don't give a shit about that $100. It's literally nothing to them. The amount of thought for that $100, like whether or not they have 20, like whatever they're buying, they'll like, well, we want a round number of the thing we're buying, so we'll put a 20 because that's a nice round number. And then they'll just buy some shit. Okay, we got that shit. We bought that. We stole the money from them. It took us no effort to put that 20 there. No effort. And that's the problem, is they're taking money and then just frivolously spending it with no actual mental thought on what they're doing. Whereas the person who was stolen from isn't just one person, it's many. So many people would be thinking about spending that money much more, and therefore it would be spent more effectively, i.e. not fucking wasted. Because guess what happens when we waste money? When we waste energy? It's just gone. It's useless. What the fuck did we just do with it? It's like having some shitty engine that just doesn't even function and just burns the gas and it's just gone. And there, that was useful. Good choice, guys. Glad we have this fucking piece of shit engine. Because that's what it is. It's our engine. The system that we're using is kind of like our engine. And if we feed it, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. But that is true, though. Like, they cannot spend money as effectively as the individuals who they're stealing the money from. And it is stealing. It is theft. And it's not even legalized. You understand that income tax in the United States is not even ratified. It's not even legal. They owe us all of it back. And interest, just like they fucking charge us interest. And they owe us it not in just some fucking printed fiat confetti. I was going to say confetti, and I said fiati. Confiati. Okay. Not in some printed confetti, but in actual valuable assets. I don't know, like land. Like the land you just fucking steal from people. Oh, did you die? And then your relatives are over there, and you didn't seem to do anything to make it go to them, so we're just gonna, that's ours. We're the government. So, by default, we just get whatever it is we want to take. Like repo, stealing the government steals more properties from people in repossessions than all burglars in the United States annually. Fucking cunts, guys. And they wonder why people steal. You know, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. This shit system that steals from people, and then they expect people to function honestly when they're being stolen from. Of course, they're like, hey, man, that's the way of the world. They steal from me, I steal from them, and, you know, I gotta get mine. Like, we create the problems with our solutions. And maybe I'm creating the problem with my solution. But I'm not imposing my will. I don't have an arm of a military where I can just kind of be like, what did you say? I don't have prisons where I can just be like, you don't get to move anymore or see the sun. I'm so sorry about that. You're going to come out of this better, for sure. You're going to come out of this loving the government, for sure. For sure. She didn't even commit a violent crime. Oh, you just had some marijuana. You can't smoke the ganja, guys. You know, it might open your mind a little bit. We don't want that. We don't want that happening. See, that's what happens. They're like, these people are uncontrollable. That it must be because the drug is bad. Nothing to do with it. They fucking have had like a literal mind expanding experience. No. I'm pretty sure the president is not allowed to have smoked marijuana more than like 40 times in their life to be elected. So I guess I can't run. I would run anyway. Part of my platform would be like, why that's bullshit. So I think the new law, and we're making it a law because that's what we're doing, right? We're making law, so let's make it a law. The new law. Any presidential candidate must have smoked at least 40 times. That's a new law. I like that law. It has a nice ring. Maybe this law thing is actually good after all. You know? That does have a nice ring to it. At least 40. You know, put it in section. Maybe make that what is it, the 30s? I don't know how many amendments there are. 29, 28, 27. Make it the next amendment. Okay. Next amendment. I'm not sure if that's even amendment material. It's probably some like other location. Which is crazy. It's just crazy. Why would they say that? It's got to be people that just didn't try, observed people that they didn't understand why they were that way, concluded fault in it, and then determine the course of action was to limit. Limit, limit. So if we limit, if I stop eating today, I'm still going to function. Tomorrow I'm going to function. The next day I'm going to function. I mean, I'm not going to be great. I'm going to be kind of starving over time, over weeks. But I'd still function. But like at some point I'd really start to show signs of the hunger. And at some point actually starve to death. Same thing goes for society. If we cut off our inputs and limit and basically put up a wall, close things off, there's no input. And so inside of that system, which is interesting, when we cut things off, when we create a closed system, and in thermodynamics, a closed system, entropy increases. But in an open system, which the universe is so entropy does not increase. It's neutral because the universe is made of nothingness. There's this balance within it eternally. And this balance exists, and ergo, entropy is just one half of the picture. And it's just like a room becoming messy and then being cleaned. Everything functions that way. There's two sides to entropy, where there is this back to order thing going on, but that's only in an open system, which the universe itself actually is. But in a closed system, which is what thermodynamics is actually talking about, entropy increases. And so if we close a system, if we say, okay, you can't do this, and just let's put more and more barriers on that system until it's just really shut off. Just like saying, like, you can't go across the street. You know, like, that doesn't really stop me from that much from, you know, living my life. If, like, all I could ever not do was, like, go specifically across one street, like, my life is still going to be pretty free, you know. Maybe one day I'll be like, damn, I want to cross that street. But then I'll move on and live my entire life and forget about it because it was barely limiting me. But if I have more and more limitations, then I'm going to be more and more closed in and thereby create an actual closed system. And what happens in a closed system? Entropy increases. Disorder increases, which is what we are doing when we limit ourselves. We're literally creating a more and more closed system, not open, closed, which is like starving ourselves out, and then we just die. Good job, guys. Nice structure. It's really good when we wall ourselves off from each other. I mean, I do it too, you know, it's circumstantial. It's all meant to be. It's God's will, you know. All of this is teaching us lessons in life, collectively, individually. It's really beautiful. There's nothing to be sad about. It's fucking beautiful. Or stressed about. Because I don't want to be stressed. Stress is the number one killer. Maybe that's because it's closed system. Stress is just like this. Putting stress, pressure down, effectively becomes a closed system. There's got to be something to that. I was just thinking of that listening to a podcast recently. The specific idea of a closed system being where entropy is what increasing, because there's a lot to entropy that's not really incorporated in things, because like we're like, okay, stars radiate and over time they'll just kind of fade away and the stars will just like be done, and that's that. I mean, where's it going to get energy from? It's going to run out of hydrogen, right? That's what we think. But the thing is stars radiate, but then stars are radiated upon by everything else. Just like everything else. And so they're fed by that radiation actual particles that become an input of mass. And so it effectively becomes just like radiation out mass, radiation in mass, and a mass balance. So if there's more radiation out than there's radiation in, and by radiation I mean the entire spectrum of particles of an infinite cascading spectrum of smaller and smaller, to the point where they become so small that they cause gravity. And those particles are so abundant that they just create this like sea of pressure of particles pushing on bodies. But they're so small that no individual particle is anything by itself. It's just the collective of the gravity that causes the overall effect, which ties into how things are societally as well, how the collective can create this macroscopic observation where we can't even see the individual, perhaps. What was I talking about? Shit. Guys. And gals, thanks y'all for listening. It's cool having everyone along here while I rant about my tinfoil hat conspiracy theories and yeah, and their connections to physics and consciousness, world events. There's so much stuff going on. So I was going to say, did I say this? They're trying to make him the Mahdi, Mohammed bin Salman. I'm just bringing that up randomly all of a sudden. Oh, the shit that I've thought about. I'm realizing I haven't really thought about that kind of stuff in a while. Like, even though I'm like kind of aggressively presenting it as if it's like always on my mind, like I really haven't looked into it, especially. Like I haven't even read any news on Israel in like a year, unless it happens to pop up. They haven't been in the news as much recently, and I haven't been like seeking it out. So it just kind of came out, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't even remember, you know? Shit that's like, whoa. Like, for instance, there's a video I watched of a doctor, Stephen something. I forget his name. I tried to find the video, and it's still up there. Supposedly he's a doctor. He wasn't a fucking doctor. Was not a doctor. But it was during Ebola. He's in Africa during the most recent Ebola outbreak a couple years ago, supposed. And he's acting like he's a doctor. And I fucking Google him because he had his name. Dude gave his real fucking name. And you know what I find? Freelancer. No medical background whatsoever. Actor background. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, it's right the fuck there. They clearly hired the dude to say some bullshit and act like he was a fucking medical doctor. And they do that all the time. They had this fucking guy. This guy on New York fucking Times, and you can find this and watch the video. Watch it. You can find it. If you can find it. It's up there on YouTube for sure. And at least as of me saying this. Where this dude, the reporter, is saying that is talking to this father, and his son supposedly is sick, and he's on the ground like moving around out being sick. But then in certain segments of the video, he's just sitting there casual as fuck. He's like he's sitting against a building, sitting there with his knees up and his arms just looking around. But he's wallowing in pain, and then he's doing this, just chilling. And it's almost like he's not realizing they want him to keep acting in that moment, and they were like, we'll put this in the video, which is interesting. It's almost like they're like purposely showing that they're lying, if that's the case. But then at the end of it, the father's walking away, and his in his hand is a wad of fucking cash. I'm like, dude, did you just fucking pay this dude? Pay him off to have his son act like he had Ebola and couldn't get into some. And then they show someone in the hazmat suit, oh no, you cannot enter, and the dude's like wallowing, and he's right outside the entrance to this like testing facility or whatever it is. They open the door, and they're like, oh, full hazmat suit. Like, whoa, guys. The fact that the guy's name was his real name, and he had a actual social media page where he indicated he was an actor, and I fucking stalked this guy. I was like, every piece of information I could find. This dude, on his Facebook, he said some racist shit too. Literally called black people in Africa monkeys on his Facebook. I'm like, dude, the people that you're supposedly a doctor. Oh, I'm here to help. Yes, I'm here to help. Fucking monkeys. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, whoa, dude. I found that on his Facebook. Like, all this shit about being an actor, and now it's all gone because someone probably fucking pointed it out. It got back to him that people were noticing that he was fucking like blatantly not who he said he was. Why the fuck did he not have a fake name like Sandy Hook? Oh, it's fucking the video of the father just like laughing and having a fucking blast, and then walking up to the podium, gathering and composing himself, and then just crying. You sure those, dude? The Sandy Hook, the choir at the Super Bowl are the same fucking kids, guys. They're like, oh, brother, they're aged a little bit. Like, they're not the same age. They just use old fucking pictures, gave them a new name, said it was their sibling, and then got paid off. Oh my god. Because that kid was like fucking 50 pounds. There's no way. Like, people have looked at the equipment that he supposedly had and been like, I can't carry this and I'm military trained. Like, there's no way this scrawny child did this. There's things that are just like, well, yeah, maybe that is a little odd. And just the video, so much around Sandy Hook, but like the most obvious one that I find so ridiculous that it's out there, it's almost like it's almost like they're trying to tell us that it's all full of all of a fucking charade. It's trying to awaken us to our true reality. I mean, whoever's in control, I like to think that they do in fact have our best interest in mind, even in spite of how crazy it may appear. I mean, God, clearly. But, like, more physically present as an individual. Whoever's in control, those people in control of Earth, of what's going on, not, like, the most, like, manifested person that's controlling things. I like to think they they are benevolent in intent and know what they're doing. Somehow. Somehow. I mean, because what they're doing is complicated. It's not so simple as just world peace. Like, they're fucking awakening us all to our true infinite reality in their own life. Like, it always happens, but like in this experience, it happens infinite times, I'm saying. But in this time, like, it's not like they have access to it. They achieved it in this life, and then they are sharing the awakening with us as well. I think. Maybe. If it's happening. If it's not just some fucking people that literally are just evil in like the way that they function, because they're not evil. And God's just letting it happen until we start to stand for what's right more collectively as one. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because I don't know. I don't have access. If anyone has information they want to share with me, hey guy, you might want to know this little tidbit. I am all ears. In anything, really. It doesn't even matter. Just like, hey, did you know that this happened? It seems like you might want to know based on things you've said. Let me bring some clarity to this issue. Okay. What else? Would be nice if I had someone to talk to. I mean, I could have people to talk to. I'm hoping this gets to the point, though, where people are like, okay, let's talk to this guy. And then I'll just have people to talk to that way. So I'll just keep talking. And at some point, hopefully someone's like, even though he's just talking to himself all nonstop and all, I guess I'll listen. Maybe we'll have a conversation even. I'll broadcast it. And be in a position just like those people, in a position where they can change the world because they just happen to be in that position. And maybe don't do it in the best way. I need people in a position where they can help change my world. Anyway, not to be begging, because I've watched like reaction videos sometimes, and one of the things I notice is some people will regularly just one video. This one person. She referenced her Patreon and like the need, her desire for donations, and like, oh, if you do this, if you donate, then I'll react. There's a song, or like all these things, like constantly asking for donations, to the point where the video just had no content. It was just asking for donations. I was just like, that wasn't really a reaction video to the song. It was more of a request for donations. And I mean, I would like to be able to help someone like that, but I mean, I don't have enough money to just help someone like that. And so if I'm over here blah 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 begging for donations and ways, then I can understand why that would be a bad course of action. So I should probably just stop. I mean, and stop just being like, well, you know. and just keep making content where I'm just talking about stuff. What else can I talk about? So many times I've been wrong. It's not like so many times. In this process, because I mean, looking at prophecies and stuff like that, you can go down some rabbit holes. Holy fuck, get lost down some rabbit holes of thought. I probably still am. I mean, the craziest one, something that I really honestly still believe, not that it will happen, but just believe that it's like the best explanation for all prophecy fulfillment in a universal and literal way across many all religions that I could find prophecies on Judgment Day, end times. I researched this so heavily. And it's like the craziest shit. It's so crazy. Oh yeah, so this is what's gonna happen if prophecy is fulfilled. This is how it would be fulfilled. And here's why. Because it's a scientific fulfillment. In that it would be so complete and literal and so widespread, universal of fulfillment that it would be scientifically provable. Like, people could be like, okay, I see why these prophecies were actually fulfilled by this event. And my interpretation, it sounds fucking crazy, guys. Like, I sound like a crazy person to even suggest anything along these lines. But it's fucking fascinating to even think about, though, because it's there. Like, it starts with Nostradamus, and the reason it starts that way is just because of me, just because of my circumstances. That's where I had an idea that led to me investigating the idea so thoroughly that it really just was like fed more and more and more and more, just like evidence for why that may be actually what would be the thing. Because the thing is, people who look for Bible prophecy fulfillment and prophecy fulfillment in general will consider ways that it could be fulfilled, so that if those ways manifest, they'll be like, okay, it was fulfilled, or they'll just know. And that would basically further the ideology. So it's kind of like a verification of the validity of our belief systems. We're looking to be verified, to be validated. In sense. And so we'll come up with ways, and like so common way for it is like a solar flare. So like the Judgment Day prophecies, where there's all sorts of just like suggestions of chaos and like hellfire, for instance. People will say, well, maybe a comet, maybe the sun, a solar flare, maybe all sorts of ideas. But none of the ideas that I've seen would actually fulfill the prophecies in full. Like, maybe a line. Okay, this line, it would be fulfilled, but what about this? Like, we're just taking that line out of context is what we're doing. We're like, okay, this line's the only line that matters because it's so significant in what it says because it says that the thing that I think is happening is what's happening. So therefore, this is the important line, and that's what happens all the time in prophecy. But as a scientist, scientists out there who are like, fuck this guy, how dare he call himself a scientist. Sorry, I got a degree in engineering, guys. I mean, it may not mean much to you, but I am in fact a scientist, and I know that's tough. That's a tough life to have to, be like, that dude is kind of one of us, and I don't know how. It's really unfortunate. He fucking dope. Anyway, as a quote scientist, what was I talking about to say that to begin with? Oh yeah, as a scientist, if I'm gonna believe the Bible, I better see proof. I don't want some half-ass proof. Do you know what proof is? Do you know what proof is? Cause I ain't convinced easily. So if it's some half-ass fulfillment, that's not gonna do it. Some people, and that's the thing, and I'm not even saying me, the thing is if all of us are gonna be convinced, the only way for all of us to be convinced is if it's so overwhelmingly evident that there's no alternative. It's just, yes, that happened that way, and that's fulfilled. That's crazy. And now we see things differently as a collective, as one, sharing a viewpoint because God has awakened us, in essence. But so all these ideas, they just wouldn't fulfill the prophecies in full. And so for a scientific analysis, it has to be in full, and it has to be literal. It just has to be. That's the only way it could be true. That's the only way to be like, damn, dude, that was written. It wasn't just kinda interpretable that way. It was written. So that's how I kind of went into it, looking into that concept of Judgment Day. If there's something that would happen, it would have to be so written that it's in everything. And that's when, so my model just suggests that shows, not just suggests, shows, or not. And I don't want to call it my model and make it it's my own, because then some parts are my own, which is really my mistakes. Those are my own. The parts that are right, those are just the nature of reality that I'm just simply describing in a accurate way because they're right, inclusive of that all systems function the same. And so planets can supernova because stars can supernova. A planetary supernova is much more like a planetary super volcano. There's different perspectives because we're made of atoms, and so atoms of a planet, of a less massive system, it's just not going to be as radiant as a star blowing up. But a planet blowing up would be like a planetary supervolcano. And so one of the prophecies is about that, and that led into this analysis where Nostradamus, the sun hidden in eclipse by Mercury, will be second in the sky, and then some other not quite related things within the prophecy that aren't like relevant to the actual event itself. And the sun hidden eclipse by Mercury. So what's interesting is a supernova outshines the entire galaxy in terms of its luminosity. And so perhaps a planetary supernova would outshine the sun. So the sun hidden eclipsed by Mercury because it's even more luminous, making the sun become less visible, will be set second in the sky because the Mercury supernova is more luminous. And then there's another Nostradamus prophecy that I relate to it, that has a, this is all off the top of my head, so they're quatrains, they're 4 lines. This is how Nostradamus prophecies work. They're called quatrains, and they're unrelated. There's no like this one and this one are related, but like some of them appear, if you read them, as if they are talking about the same general thing, and some of them sound like they're talking essentially about this Judgment Day prophecies. And that just may be my interpretation, where I'm like, well, maybe this prophecy is about Judgment Day, and just guessing, because there's no way to know. So like applying that concept is a pretty extreme jump to be like, okay, let's actually look into this because Nostradamus said so. And not only said so, but like my interpretation of what Nostradamus said implied maybe that could be a possibility to look into in other prophecies. And not just other prophecies, but in actual observations, because so the idea is that if Mercury supernovaed, then it would effectively create like a shock wave of debris, of energy, of heat, radiation that would sweep across the planet. And so it would create essentially every physical description of prophecy that I've seen, which is like hellfire, which is like, because like what's going to create hellfire, which is just debris, like raining molten rock from the sky. Like maybe a comet could have like many comets with it. And so that's one of the things that's like, well, it kind of limits things. It's some kind of raining molten debris. So is kind of doable for several possibilities, but it's a little more stretching it for some than others. Like if Mercury supernovaed, it would just freaking shoot out all sorts of debris, and that would just sweep across the earth, and then it would just fall on Earth, and it would just be molten rock, functionally hellfire in a real way, and it would bring with it like a cloud of gas, of dust and debris that would create like a whirling tempest around Earth. I mean, there's all these like nuanced prophecies though. Like, so one of them is a whirling tempest of clouds around the Earth. Like, where's this cloud coming from? If it's like a solar flare, like that's not going to create a cloud unless it's so much that it actually sends like atoms, not just like neutrinos and smaller scale particles, but like physical large enough particles that it's like a cloud. But that would just destroy the Earth if it was so extreme of a solar flare.
And then like comets, like they're not gonna have clouds. Like maybe it would create like a hellfire kind of effect, but it wouldn't create this like tempest of this like darkness. And so like one of the things is like the sun and the moon and the stars will not shine for however long. And like so that would happen if a cloud of debris from the supernova, like literally was gravitationally locked around the Earth and just blocking out vision. All sorts of prophecies that would be completely and literally fulfilled. Even Ezekiel. So Ezekiel Chapter 1 is about this vision that he has, and it's like this wheel within wheels and all these things, and one of the details is that it's 4. He's always describing 4 things, and they're moving in the sky with one another, which is a celestial object. And so that there's 4 though is interesting, because one of the effects of gravity is that it can bend the light to create 4 images of one object in a gravitational lensing effect called an Einstein cross. And so if Mercury supernovaed, planetary supernova of Mercury, and it was physically positioned in alignment with the sun relative to Earth, where they're all in alignment, then maybe because of the size of the event and the amount of energy released, maybe it would literally be visible relative to the sun itself as not just one event, but as 4 of them gravitationally lensed into this Einstein cross effect, and then create literally Ezekiel's vision, because he's consistently saying 4, and the motion of the objects, so how they move, but they side to side, but they don't turn as they move, and all these things that are, it's an object in space, and it rises with the whatever it is, the moon or the sun or whatever. It says it rises in the same way, and that's what an object would do. And so if Mercury supernovaed, it could create an Einstein cross. And what I think is interesting about the cross is that it predates Jesus, but it's become the symbol of Jesus. And so if it is tied to Judgment Day in this way, where we physically see a cross in the sky because Mercury supernovas, if it were to be tied to Judgment Day in that way, where the issue really was that we were not one, we weren't like awakening to our oneness, we were just fighting it, and so chaos was just reigning, and like the system was corrected because we just won it. Which fuck guys, path of least resistance. I was just talking to my coworker today about this tendency to like Lowe's in the garden center, where they've been helping me get the plants on the table this past like week, because they have a walkthrough coming up, and so the garden center is like real nice when it's usually a mess, because we just get like inundated with like ridiculous amounts of plants with no table space. That's a fucking mess. But she was saying it would be nice if we kept it that way, rather than just like doing it just because like someone's coming to look at the store and we gotta get it ready, but it's like this tendency that we have though to take the path of least resistance, to take the easy route. And maybe we're gonna do it as a society, because it is written
You know, maybe it's so unavoidable that even if we try to avoid it, we just create it. That's probably what's happening, huh? By trying to avoid it, somehow create it. I don't know how to create that part unless someone fucking Death Stars it at, All right, guys. Hopefully, I will not. I'll just tell you guys, I'm not gonna Death Star it. Okay. I won't Death Star Mercury. I hope, because that would be fucking crazy. I'm always like, all right, they're not listening. Mercury needs to fucking blow, guys. Okay, let's focus the gravity, because we know how to focus these particles now, and we'll just Death Star it. Oh God, man, what the fuck? Anyway, but my thoughts are, because of the alignment of the planets. So one of the things on Earth is earthquakes are tied to planetary alignments. This is considered kind of like a pseudoscience, or even though it's become more sciencey, like more widely accepted, but it's still rather pseudo. It's not pseudo, it's just people who don't know about it call it pseudo, just like as a reflex, because there's tangible evidence that there is an actual relationship between earthquakes and planetary alignments, almost like it's creating like a focus of energy into the planet. And so planetary alignments, if they create earthquakes like that, probably do focus energy into the planets, and maybe they could push a planet that's like unstable to some like breaking point where they literally, just like a star, past that like runaway, now it's time to blow. Because Mercury, interestingly, so to get into some observations, which are so interesting, guys. It's so crazy. It's crazy, the observations. So let's just say, before I get into Mercury observations, let's just say that this was a cyclical event, and Mercury supernovas, it then pushes Venus, it then impacts it, so it supernovas, and then it influences the other planets, especially Venus, Earth, and Mars, in ways that are cause them basically to become the next planet. So like Venus becomes Earth, Earth becomes Mars, and Mars becomes Ceres in the asteroid belt. It goes out to the asteroid belt. Let's just say, hypothetically, maybe that would happen, because what's interesting is it's actually observationally, there's a lot of evidence that this is what happened in the past, that Venus is the previous Mercury, and that Earth is the previous Venus, and that Mars is the previous Earth, and that Venus underwent a planetary supernova, because the whole planet is known to have been resurfaced in a supervolcano, a planetary supervolcano. Venus is known to have undergone. Its whole surface is resurfaced. It's covered in a thick layer of atmosphere, almost as if it just released a ridiculous amount of gas that then was just held to the planet by gravity, creating this thick atmosphere. There's all sorts of evidence of volcanic, of super volcanic activity on Venus. And so the idea is that it was Mercury once, and its core was a dense iron core, which is when a system, just like a star, becomes unstable. So maybe a planet becomes unstable when it exhibits similar traits that we conclude it has an iron core. Because, well, we can only conclude those things. We can't physically see those things. So we're just concluding it based on X, Y, Z. And so maybe there's similarities when we look at a planet and make that conclusion to when we look at a star and make that conclusion in terms of where it is in its life cycle and how it's going to function. Mind you, also, these are electrons of the solar system. So, like, an excited electron. It really is just like an excited electron moving up to the next orbital. And so when the excited electron becomes excited, Mercury supernova, it would then basically move into the second position and shove Venus into this third position and cause Venus to become the new Earth. And so the way we can kind of look at this is by looking at Venus as it is now and Earth as it was in the past, and say, could this happen? So what's interesting is Venus is very similar to Earth in terms of its actual dimensions. And so if there were to be a planet like Venus that was influenced by the supernova of Mercury, it could be that it was shoved into the third position, where it then had its atmosphere largely stripped away by the shockwave of energy that was remnants from when it was a supervolcano, and thereby basically remove the greenhouse effect that Venus has and make the atmosphere, so let's just say, because at this point, it's kind of just like, damn, God's fucking good, guys. Just say if it happened like that. Make the atmosphere actually like where it needs to be for life to thrive as we know it. And also, so Venus doesn't rotate. So it doesn't have an electromagnetic field, really. At least not detectable. And so also in causing it to move, also causing it to rotate. And so just like Earth, just like our Earth now, which went from a state of non-rotation to rotating. And the way we know this is because it has water on Earth. Because it underwent expansion. Earth expanded from a smaller landmass, from an actual smaller surface area when the Earth rotated. So just like Venus moving from a non-rotating to a rotating, it would then go through a change of state because it's no longer stable. Like its equilibrium was that it wasn't rotating, and so now it needs to find a new equilibrium. So when it's rotating, it creates an electromagnetic field in a figure 8 shape, and those particles, because it's pulling ether particles in a figure 8 orbital, and those particles collide at the center and create matter as we know it, like hydrogen and oxygen, which then builds up pressure until the Earth ruptures. And so then a flood occurs. Lots of details I'm jumping through here, sorry, but this is just relating it to why Venus is following this cycle in a way, assuming that the concept that Mercury supernovas as Judgment Day, it appears like Venus is following the cycle that Earth would, where it would become like Earth, where it would then rotate, where it would then create a flood because of the rotation, where it would then expand and have a new steady state, where its new shape was basically more stable because now it's been rotating for a long time. Like it's only unstable when change happens, when it goes from non-rotating to rotating. But once the rotating is going on long enough, it reaches a new equilibrium, as well as just moving from the second to third position, if that is in fact what happened. And then Earth, though, would become like Mars, and so Mars is coated in a iron oxide layer, which is interesting. So if Earth, while Venus would have its atmosphere protected because it's such a thick atmosphere, it would be stripped away. It wouldn't have the same effect as on the planet as Mars, as Earth would have if Mercury were to supernova, because we have a much thinner atmosphere. And so it could theoretically strip away the atmosphere. I mean, it could push the moon into the planet and create it could create scars along the planet. What did I say again? I don't know what the first thing I said. Something about an atmosphere. Doesn't matter. But it could, and going back to the consideration that Mercury is highly iron rich core, it could be possible that maybe it does have iron on a high enough scale that it would, if it reached the surface of the planet, maybe it could coat it with a layer that we would then look at and be like, that's a red planet. And then like the scars on Mars has all sorts of like anomalies that are just like the Olympus Mon is the largest volcano in the solar system, and it's almost like the planet. If you look at it, there's like a line too. It's almost like the planet was hit by a wave of energy that basically caused a runaway reaction for the super volcanoes like Yellowstone that were present on that planet, causing them to go off, which then was Olympus Mon. And then some of the material of the planet was just stripped away by this like by the wind. the energy, because it had no atmosphere to hold stuff down. And so as time goes by, Mars even loses matter into space now. Like, we know that it's just like leaving a cloud behind it as it moves because of its thin atmosphere. But I mean, it would have its atmosphere stripped away. There's all these observations in there. So it makes me say, well, maybe this is repetitive because, you know, just like a wave. Just like a wave, it happens and happens, it happens over and over, coming back to the same point, but in the future. Back to the same point, but in the future. Just kind of like going back to the same point, but in the future, more in like a circle, maybe. Just saying some random shit at that point, though. What was I talking about that was cyclical? Shit. I got distracted in my head. Cyclical. Coming back to the same point. Oh, yeah, the planets. Okay, I found it. So, I know it's crazy, guys. I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, I know it sounds fucking crazy. But that's why it's interesting, because if you look at the prophecies, if you look at the observations scientifically, they're out there. I've written papers on this. They're not ones that I really advertise. I mean, because you know, order of operations can't really be like, hey guys, let me talk to you about Judgment Day. Did you want to talk about Judgment Day today? No? How about tomorrow? Are you saved? But I think it happened though in the past. And the thing is, like, Earth doesn't have an infinite lifespan, and we don't know radiometric dating. Radiometric dating is bullshit, guys. I'm not even like gonna like beat around the bush here. It's not an actual functional system to use to date anything because it assumes so many things. It assumes constant rate of decay. It assumes no uh, daughter atoms present at the formation of the rock. It just assumes anything it can to conclude that the earth is old enough for evolution to have occurred, because evolution unfortunately takes time, and we all know it couldn't have taken just a few thousand years for evolution to occur. So the earth must be old, and so radiometric dating is really like presented as if it's like a legitimate source of information, but it's bullshit. Like one of the claims is it doesn't change the decay rate, but this is known to be wrong. Like literally seasonal decay rates you can see in data where in the different times of the year decay rates change, meaning they depend on the environment, meaning they're not fucking constant as is claimed by people using radiometric dating to as an absolute measure of the age of the earth, because they want to have that. That's the thing. It's kind of like we don't want to remember that we're God, because it comes with some other side things that we might not really want to have to deal with. You know, like responsibility. That all sounds shitty to be the fucking God, huh? Responsible to all this. God damn. I hope it's as easy as nothing, you know? God's like, I'll just create a program that has nothing manifest into everything, and there we go. That was way easier than me thinking about it. God damn, that would have been a pain in the ass, huh? Come up with all these laws and people and ideas and all these things, you know? Like, I'd rather just, sit back and watch, relax, smoke a bowl. God probably smokes bowls, right? You think God's got a bong? God's got all the bongs. God is all the bongs, you know? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Next time you're smoking out of a bong, just remember, smoking out of God, and you're smoking God. And you are God. Fuck. It doesn't even make sense in some ways. Like, hey, let me tell you something that really doesn't do anything. Oh, everything's God. Well, that's pretty useless. Thanks. That's okay though, because it's got some benefits to know. What? Shit, guys. Awkward silence is awkward silence. I gotta fill it. I don't want to just sit here in awkward silences. I try to remember what I just said. And so I'd rather just rant about how it's fucking A, man. And here we are. But all sorts of prophecies, going back to that. All sorts of prophecies would be literally and completely fulfilled by that actual event. And it's across all these places, like not just the Bible, not just the Quran. I mean, not just Nostradamus. It's literally like Zoroastrian prophecies. What was it called? Like the Sibylline oracles. I mean, I was looking around, guys. I definitely didn't find them all. And if anyone wants to reference any to me, feel free. Especially if it kind of confirms what I'm saying. You know. Just more along that line. I'm not saying just give me a confirmation bias, but if it really is like, whoa, dude, that does fit like real well, that would be interesting. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'd like to know those things too. Because don't worry, I got enough people telling me why I'm wrong. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got an army of people just telling me why I'm wrong, and I haven't even gotten my information out there yet. Just imagine people in the comment sections. If people are listening to me one day, they're like, "Who the fuck is this dude? And why is he fucking Oh shit! People get called the Antichrist like immediately by a certain community. I'm gonna get called that too. I'm just saying that because I'm gonna. Just interesting. I'm bringing such like a impactful tidbit of information. I'm just gonna be fucking judged maliciously, just ruthless, and wrong as fuck too. And that's the thing. Wrong as fuck. But hey, who's thinking it? Oh yeah. Limited gods. That's what limited gods do. Is they divide. And maybe I'm dividing by having an unlimited God, or at least claiming to, while clearly having an unlimited God, since I'm trying to tell God what to do. Hey God, could you really change the circumstances in my life so that everything is more like I want it? God, can you tell him not at ease or accepting of anything as it is, because I won't stop trying to change it? Oh God, what to do? Hey, sometimes I wonder if I'm like an android. Like, I definitely think like a Data or Spock or whatever. Definitely have a analytical. Sometimes I'll even see like, I don't know, like syntax. I don't know what it is. Something like conversation becomes much more like it's like on a piece of paper, like the punctuation is pronounced, but like just in conversation, I don't know, sometimes it's like it's a script, I guess. But it's so really a script that it's like written down in a way that I like feel like I sense it in this, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know, even know what I'm talking about now. But definitely gonna call me the Antichrist someday. They called Obama the Antichrist. They called Trump the Antichrist. They called Mohammed bin Salman the Antichrist. They've called, I mean, you can just go back and see the list, just alongside the lines of those 2012, all the videos, Mayan calendar, the Y2K. Just people looking for verification, validity of their ideas, but not because they're like fundamentally flawed in some way. Like, you need to just do it this other way. Like, it's because we're just trying to find our way. It's literally like an electric, if you were to have resistance between two points and have an electric current go through it, and it just like found the path, but it branched out into all these different paths to find the actual path to make it through, and then it makes it through and then follows that path, because that's the path that goes from A to B. It doesn't get stuck in the middle because it's like too much resistance from that path. No. It goes full circuit, A to B. And that's kind of what we're doing. It's like ants, just looking around for some food. Someone finds the food, and then we go to it and, get the energy. And we do that in verifying our belief system by finding whatever validates it. And even if it's wrong, but over time, some of us stumble on more energetic sources and pieces of information that we can then lead others to that are more impactful, more substantial, more made of substance, just like a finding a flipped over like potato chip truck and leading all your ants back to it, and you're like, you're gonna have a fucking huge colony now. You guys are gonna thrive off these potato chips for life, versus finding like a crumb, But it's not like that ant like created the potato chips. They just found them. I didn't create shit. I just found it. There is a difference. Although sometimes I wonder if in the future we'll create something so real that it just shows that we're God, we as one collectively. It only makes sense because we are, that it would be apparent in the story, but not just like that one angle. Like, it's going to be from every angle, though. Like, we are that way, but we're also this other way. Because we're infinite. That's why I always find it bothers me a lot. Like, psychology, the whole, like, psychiatrist, therapist concept, where they have this, like, conclusion that someone is a certain way. Because people are definitely going to call me a lot of shit. As if they know me. Pfft, bitch, please. You don't know shit. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the people listening when I'm, like, taking my frustrations out on the people who aren't listening. By talking shit on them. Bitch, please. And then I probably, like, push people away by talking about all sorts of stuff. But I'm just going to do it anyway. Fuck it. I'm ready to just go about life. I don't care anymore. Just fuck it. Well, 'cause we got to, guys. It's tough. I don't want to bash certain ideas or people indirectly or directly, but I just got to. Sorry for collateral damage. It's all words. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I wish, at least not long term. It's all So at least it's not physical. Isn't that interesting? You think it's possible that physical violence is less fucked up than mental violence? Sometimes I wonder how fucked up I am, because I'm an asshole mentally. In terms of like, it's not accounting for how people are gonna feel about things I do in times. And I don't know what impact that has mentally. I don't want to impact people mentally in a negative way. I'm just sharing my stupid perspective as some ignorant fuck born in his own little bubble. Alright. Anyway, now that I've ranted, I don't want to say rant. I keep saying that shit. I gotta stop beating myself down and start, recognizing that I am spinning, looking all over the place, creating a magnetic field, get that inner star. Talked about that in my last podcast. I like that concept. I do like the concept. Literally lighting your inner star by rotating and looking at all sorts of things and being involved in all sorts of stuff, spiraling out. But no one even has to know, because it's inside, The inner star is lit. We don't see the inner star on Earth, if there is one. We call it the inner core, but effectively it's an inner star, I would say. Pardon me, guys. I know all the things that I just say casually, that someone in some department in some place is just like, what the fuck did this dude just say? It's such a barrier, though, guys. Like, look into it openly. Suppose some things possible. Think about gravity. Just how much gravity is at the center? There's none. That means something. It doesn't mean there's an infinite pressure. Well, the pressure's ridiculous from the no gravity. Right? You know what I'm saying? It does not mean that. So it means there's a hole there. There's like a area of low density. I don't want to say hole. Area of low density. Surrounded by the ring sphere of high density. Anyway, now I've talked about that. Talked about all these things. I'm going to go ahead and call it a podcast. Thanks, guys. Peace out. I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. And for sending interesting stuff that I should know about. Please. I think if you want to, or care enough to, or driven to do something, where you reach out to me and send me something, you can figure it out. So, I have faith in you to figure out how to make that happen. So, if you want, and notably be convincing, hey, sincere, earnest, and that would be cool. Gonna get trolled, though. It's inevitable. People just trolling me. Oh, are you trying to do something? Are you actually, you want to take life seriously? Life's not serious, dude. It's all about living, about loving, about having fun. To people who think that way, it's only that way until, the weight of the fucking bullshit system we're in makes it so we're slaves. So, be mindful that, that might not always be possible, and maybe we should make sure that it is always possible by, not letting that shit happen. Not letting dystopia reign, because that's not, it's not okay. What is actually okay and should be, let me tell you, it's simple. God will, God rules, God's will. Not us as individuals, but God as the like the true God, like capital G God, like separate and distinct from all of us in a pretty real way also, I'd say, even though we're all one, like essentially next to infinite, we're all nothing though, separate and distinct, like there's that side of things. And that's who is God. So let's let that happen, and encourage it along by doing our best. And standing for equality, peace, unity, oneness, doing what's right and good and just, not what's easy and swift and best in the short term. We gotta think long term, guys. Think long term, and you can say, oh well, life's short, so fuck you, let's think short term. How short is life if we just keep thinking short term, little guys? May become so short that there ain't life at all. It ain't that something. So maybe let's think a little long term. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying always. Just enough to steer the ship in the proper direction. Get us a little abundance, 'cause we can do it. We gotta put our heads down and get the grind going. But not to say that I'm speaking for everyone here, 'cause this is part of me. As I lazily sit here and record 2.5 hours because I can of some podcast no one's listening to. I mean, really speaking volumes for me getting my grind on. But it's not gonna happen until we go for it. So just let go. It's like taking our hands off taking the training wheels off. Let God rule. And only way we do that is to actually appreciate that God exists. Not just like might exist, but exists. And has all along. And has been watching all along. Letting us do our thing all along. Just do your thing, guys, all along. Even in spite of it all. And after, the emotional response, we can kind of be like, hey, I'm glad it was this way, And find some peace and contentment in our hearts. Alright, peace, guys. Good way to end it. Later.